Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we begin our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and first timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Brandon Hancock is with us. Gotta have that playing, Brandon.
Buddy,
you
really got my juices flowing there with that Fight On song there, pal. But reminds me of coming out the tunnel, dude, back in the early 2000s, ready to crack some skulls. Nice touch there. I got to commend you.
All right. Hey, and let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we're celebrating every day on Ron Siegel Radio. What are we celebrating? National Coca Vin Day. Okay, how many people know what Coca Vin is? How many have even tried Coca Vin? It's a French dish, and it's a braise of chicken cooked with wine. I can't go wrong there. Lardons, salt pork, mushrooms, and garlic. It's a delicacy. And that looks pretty good. That's a good one, Josh. Okay, I mean that might not be very good on my diet, and I will share because I can. Yeah, just hit it. 60 pounds lost is the total as of this morning. 60 pounds. So I'm happy with that. Today's also National Biscuit Day. Okay, so I can never go wrong with biscuits. So is it biscuits and gravy or biscuits with butter and jam? I'll take either one. And as if you've ever listened to Ron Siegel Radio, you know that I do enjoy a good glass of wine. My wife and I like to go up to Paso Robles, and there's a little coffee shop there where the lady makes homemade apricot jam. Biscuits, butter, and homemade apricot jam. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Let's see what the markets are doing today. Do we want to see what the markets are doing today? Well, what happened here? I mean, I'll have to take a look and see. We're talking about the Dow Jones Industrial. It was all about yesterday. The report came out from NVIDIA, and they had some negative in their guidance, but it was mostly on the positive side. So the markets, they did well, but they've taken a big turn already. They're down 178 points. Salesforce and Goldman Sachs apparently are leading the way downward. S&P 500 is down 1.23. NASDAQ is up 32.85. And oil is down 73 cents a barrel, better than what we were looking at yesterday when we were broadcasting. If you remember yesterday, oil was up, and we don't like oil going up because most of the country, 49 states, oil affects gas prices. We are in California.
Such an idiot.
Yes, and we have Gavin Newsom here, and he likes high taxes and high fees. So we're still leading the country in high gasoline prices, high fees, and it's unfortunate that so many people in California like these high gas prices and high fees. Now, if I were to go out and walk the street and I talk to 100 people, I would say, do you like high gasoline prices? Do you like these high, leading the country in gas prices, $4.82 a gallon? And I'm not sure I'd ever see any person that said, yeah, well, maybe those that have their electric vehicles, they may not care. Everyone else is going to say, no, I don't want to have the highest gas prices in the country. And I would ask, do you realize that we pay more for gasoline in California than they pay in Hawaii by about 40 cents a gallon? People don't realize that. And I'd say, well, something, why we do that is it's because of you. And I get the strangest looks. Well, most people, because we see it every time, they vote for these same politicians who give us high taxes and high fees. I know they've got to be happy with it. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep voting for the same people. It does drive me bananas, but that's just the way it is. And as you know, I say on a regular basis, it is what it is. We do these things, and you'd think that we would get smarter, but for some reason,
it is what it is.
We don't. Now, I'm looking right now, the mortgage bonds, they're doing good. Again, this has a little bit to do, not a lot, but it has a little bit to do with the fact that a couple of judges came back, 3 judges came back and said that President Trump is overstepping his authority with his tariffs. Now, I don't know whether he is or isn't, but here's my question. Why is it that a few judges that are not elected override the President of the United States? Now, if it's a Supreme Court, okay, I can say, something, they've got their foundation in the Constitution. Federal judges do not have their foundation in the Constitution. That's through the legislature. So the question I would have is, why does this keep happening? I think we got to legislate this and take it. Judges can rule on the case in front of them, but they don't get to rule for the entire country. My opinion, I'd love to see what your opinion is of that. Again, just my thought on it. But we're also looking, and we got some news this morning on GDP. We're going to talk about that a little bit later because there's a lot of the market that's just reading this incorrectly. They're not seeing the challenges in the GDP market. And yes, again, I do watch all kinds of newscasts, and I pay for a lot of subscriptions because I don't believe what the media tells us. If I want to hear what I want to hear, I can go to Fox News. If I want to hear what you want to hear, I can go to CNN. They tell you whatever you want to hear. They don't tell you the truth. Sometimes you have to just go to the raw data. Richmond Fed Factory Index, current activity, -9, rebounding slightly from April's number. Only 3 out of the past 37 months have shown expansion. 6-month outlook, forward-looking, new orders remained in contraction. Backlogs, record 2-month weakness in April, and worst records since the survey's start. Unemployment trends, both current and future employment indicators declined. Future employment lagged the current 2 months. We're going to talk a lot about employment today. Dallas Fed Services revenue may figure at -4.7 compared to levels seen during past recessions. Texas retail data, revenues at -30.5, worse than January 2024 lows, indicating serious excess supply. All those issues that we're watching in the reports, and you're not seeing any of this on the main media. Why? We got to listen to Ron Siegel Radio to get that information, and you are. We're going to chat today. Is it better to rent a home or to buy? And the labor force, where is it moving to? Is it all going to be artificial intelligence, or do we need some human intervention? We're going to talk about that with Brandon Hancock today. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, and every day at this time. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to get that principal and interest payment. Don't have a mortgage calculator? Get it. It's free. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. What did rates do yesterday? They were mixed. Conventional 30-year fixed, 6.874. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 7.027. Both of those were down. I think our slide says 7,027. Or is it my eyes? FHA 30-year fixed, 6.566. VA 30-year fixed, 6.449. Those were both up. The USDA loan, 6.495. Rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.495. That was down in the best loan on the market because you get liquidity. Home Select loan. Get homeselect.com. Get homeselect.com. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The S&P 500 is now up 4.74. The 10-year Treasury is down. That's the yield, 5 basis points. The mortgage bond, that's up 22 basis points. Remember, the bond and the yield go in opposite directions. The mortgage bond being up 22 basis points means that interest rates on home loans, most likely they're going to be down today. You got to qualify. That's just the way it works. But the question we have to ask is why? Because those information I just shared with you, that's all available on the super secret website, google.com. So let's take a look and see what's driving all of these things from the markets. Well, we got the GDP number. Second reading, first quarter GDP was reported at a negative 2%, which would improve from a negative 0.3%. I think it's negative 0.2%. I think I said 0.2%. Personal spending was weaker than expected. That's what you and I are spending, rising by only 1.2% versus the estimate of 1.8%. This slowdown can be a signal of less pricing pressure, which would mean lower inflation. Lower inflation, good for bonds. Apartment List released their new INRED index this morning, showing that new rents rose 0.4% in May and are still down 0.5% year over year. This is the time of year when we typically see rental prices rise, but this rise is weaker than we have seen in previous years. Additionally, the vacancy rate remained unchanged at 7%, the highest on record since they started tracking this metric in 2017. With more vacancies, there's less pricing pressure and more impetus to cut prices to fill the properties one is carrying. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time rose 14,000 to 240,000. Continuing claims of those who continue to receive benefits after their initial claim rose 26,000 to 1.92 million. It shows that once someone is let go, they're staying on benefits longer because it's harder to find a job, likely because there is less hiring. And maybe if they stop these handouts, the giveaways, maybe people will have more of an incentive to go and get a job. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Today on Ron Siegel Radio, we're diving into what really takes to build a championship level business team without bloated payroll. Our guest is Brandon Hancock, West Coast sales lead at Salvo Global, former ESPN analyst, USC football captain. We got to put that in there. And business development pro. He's helping American businesses unlock the secret to massive staffing savings and performance gains by tapping into elite nearshore talent. If you're looking to scale without stress, this is the episode for you. Welcome, Brandon Hancock. How are you this morning?
My friend, I'm doing fantastic. It's a real honor to be able to come here and join you, my fellow patriot. I love the content of the show thus far, and looking forward to riding lock, stock, and barrel with you for a few minutes here. And again, I'm very fascinated by your motto, which really caught my attention. Make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. That's what we're all about. That's what I'm all about, and I'm excited to share some information with everybody in your audience today.
So tell me a little bit about your background. Football, how'd you go from football to staffing? I don't get that one.
Yeah, kind of a long journey there, my friend. I took a couple lefts and rights and all around town, but I was fortunate enough to get recruited by USC back in the early 2000s. I actually went to commit to Stanford first, but then I realized 9 out of 10 women in California are beautiful, and the 10th one goes to Stanford. So had to pull that right back into Southern California. I kind of hit the wave with Pete Carroll, was very fortunate with that. And much like yourself, after some series of injuries playing ball, got into radio, broadcasting, TV, media, the whole nine. So worked with ESPN, ABC, Fox Sports. Had a blast doing that in my early 20s, traveled the United States, got to coach and mentor a lot of players. And then at some point, the rat race gets a little old when you're living in a suitcase over half the year, and then you're on the grind. So ended up kind of dovetailing. My father happens to be an attorney of 35 plus years. I have an uncle that's an estate planner and then also a CPA. And so when you kind of think about the triangulation of how these people all kind of ebb and flow off of each other, someone tapped on my shoulder. One of my business professors said, Brandon, you know what? A lot of your teammates are going to be retiring soon, and a lot of them are going to lose all their money. You ever thought about getting your Series 7 and getting into finance? So he did his advice, had a great run with a private REIT out of Dallas. Also was with the broker-dealer Wells Fargo Advisors for several years. And then the whole thing with COVID happened. Got a place out in the desert for a little bit, sold some houses, believe it or not. So that's another one you can add on that. When there was a white hot market, everybody wanted to leave LA, San Diego, San Francisco, because it was just a dumpster fire there, and people could buy houses out here. So I ended up getting a little tap on the shoulder from a buddy of mine who was a two-sport athlete, guy's in his 60s, played for the Atlanta Braves. He's a pickleball monster these days, and we're at the Newport Beach Country Club. And he said, hey, Brandon, I got a guy from Canada. He just got the chief revenue operations position at this new company, Solva Global. It sounds really cool. I think they're looking for a guy like you that has some West Coast street cred and has been in the game for a while. I think it'd be a great fit. Why don't you just come have lunch and hear him out? It was like a Tuesday afternoon. The gentleman says, hey, buddy, I hope you have your passport. Do you have it on you? I said, yeah, I do. He's like, well, we're leaving on Friday. Come with me, come down to Medellin, Colombia, and check out what this is all about. So I can get into all the bells and whistles and the fun stuff that we do there. That's our Latin American headquarters. But they made an offer I couldn't refuse, and here we are. And truth be told, I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. We have amazing leadership. But the best part about it is, it's all about competition in my life. And to be competitive in the U.S. labor markets now, it's gotten so run amok with entitlement. I think the university system has failed a lot of kids. And there's just a different culture, hunger, humility all over the world. And so I help U.S. entities maximize their operational efficiency and profitability. It's really fun to see, whether it be a law firm or an insurance agency, a logistics company, a software company, take it from 2 to 5 to 10 to 50 employees and watch them force multiply. So that's kind of the roundabout way of how I got to where I am now. And I'm really, really enjoying it.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. Hey, you have clients that I'm considering opening up a call center. I might need some 30 debt collectors for my industry. But, before we pull the trigger, I'd like to come down there and check out your operations. So I do spend a lot of time in Latin America. I can tell you the culture, the music, the food, the energy, it's fantastic. And we're very, very well, fortunate that we are a well-funded company. The owner of Solvo in particular, which is it's a division partner of the Bigger Picture Venture Employer Services, which is the nation's largest privately held PEO, professional employer organization, which helps with HR, payroll, all those compliance issues for small to mid-sized businesses. But he's a Mexico City native. He built this thing from the ground up back in 2018. We now have 55 office locations in 40 cities around the globe. We have 42,000 employees that serve the United States, Canada, now European markets. And it's second to none. We take great care of our people. And again, when people want to come down and stress test us to meet the workers that kind of drive the engine and the horsepower of our big machine, our C-suite people, it's almost 100% close rate when they see how much time we've invested and how buttoned up we are, as opposed to all the other vendors out there that people have had some unscrupulous dealings with per se. So yeah, it's a blast.
Most of what you're doing, is it South American folks that you're serving, or are you doing any Asia? I mean, because I've had people work for me that are, or actually they work for Josh, that are in the Philippines, and I think it's mostly the Philippines.
Great question. So our geographical footprint, it's truly global. When you hear the term outsource, a lot of times there can be negative connotations with that, right? Your mind constantly goes to, okay, immediately it's going to be India or Philippines, Cebu City, Jakarta. There's going to be the 12 to 15 hour flip time zone. It's a non-English neutral language. People don't necessarily like the accents. They don't do the greatest job vetting. They're not the best universities on the planet. So the IQ may not be as up to par as elsewhere. So listen, there are certain things that are phenomenal in those roles. A lot of the back office roles where they're not client facing, whether it be bookkeeping skills, software engineering. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do over there. And on the global market, that's always going to be the cheapest price. But the visionaries that kind of started our company, they saw a model there that they could expand upon and make a 2.0 version of that. And when I say that, first and foremost, everybody in Latin America that we vet and will present as a viable candidate, they have to have a 4-year college education. So they must hold a bachelor's. They must have 1 year of relevant work experience, whether they are a receptionist or an executive assistant, they're in billing, they are, a web developer, what have you. So it truncates the learning curve. And in truth be told, there are geographical hotspots that have better proficiencies and aptitudes for different skill sets. So, for example, if you want software engineers, Medellin's like the Silicon Valley of South America. attorneys. Argentina is a great spot. So there's a lot of ebbs and flows and nuances that make the job interesting, and you can help direct traffic to people depending on what their needs are.
Interesting. When we come back, I want to talk to you about saving money on talent. Do we want to save money or do we want to get great talent? Can you do both? We're going to talk about that when we come back. And we're going to also check and see, is it better to rent or buy a home? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037 and DRE number 1869452. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694452.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit RonSiegelRadio.com. Do you own a luxury home or planning to purchase one? If so, your home may be your largest asset, but your mortgage may also be your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team is offering amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates in the 3%, and 15-year rates in the 2s. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com or call me directly. My number is 800-306-1990, licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990, the real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Is it better to rent or buy a home? You probably asked yourself lately, is it even worth trying to buy a home right now? With home prices and stubborn mortgage rates, renting can seem like the safer choice right now, or maybe your only choice. Very real. And perhaps buying today isn't your best move. It's not for everyone right away. You should only buy a home when you're ready and able to do it, and if the timing is right for you. But here's the thing you need to know about renting. While it may feel like a safer bet today, and in some areas might even be less expensive month to month than owning, it can really cost you more over time. In fact, a recent Bank of America survey found that 70% of aspiring homeowners worry about what long-term renting means for their future, and they're not wrong. Owning a home may seem way out of reach, but if you make a plan now and steadily work toward it, homeownership comes with a serious long-term financial benefits. Homeownership funds wealth over time. Buying a home isn't just about having a place to live. It's a step forward building your future wealth. Why? Home prices typically rise over time, which means the longer you wait, the more expensive it is to buy. And even in some markets where home prices are softening today, the overall long-term trend speaks for itself. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 and FM 98.1 video feeds, you are seeing a chart of home price appreciation since 1988. And as home values rise, so does your equity when you're a homeowner. That's the difference between what your home is worth and what you owe. So with every mortgage payment, the equity grows. Over time, that becomes part of your net worth. Today, the average homeowner's net worth is nearly 40 times greater than that of a renter. Shocking difference, in the dollars in the visual below that we're showing on the screen right now shows that to you. $396,000 versus $10,400. Oof. And it's one of the big reasons why Forbes says, quote, while renting might seem like the less stressful option, owning a home is still a cornerstone of the American dream and a proven strategy for building long-term wealth, unquote. Biggest downside of renting? So short-term, why does renting feel like a simpler choice? Lower monthly payments, less responsibility, no strings attached. But long-term, it can sting. For decades, while home prices have been rising, rent has gone up too. And while rent has held rather steady more recently, history shows the overall trend is up and to the right. That makes saving for a home more complicated than ever. Again, take a look at the graph, increases in rent since 1988. That kind of financial uncertainty has a real impact. In the same Bank of America survey, 72% of potential buyers said they worry rising rent could affect their current and long-term finances. Because rent doesn't build wealth, it doesn't come back to you later. It pays your landlord's mortgage, not yours. So whether you rent or own, you're paying a mortgage. The question is, whose mortgage do you want to pay? Renting versus buying, what really matters? Think of it this way. Renting means your money is gone once you pay it. Owning means your payment builds equity, like a savings account you can live in. But sure, buying comes with responsibility. But it also comes, holy cow, with the kind of reward that grows over time. And that's why you need a solid plan to get there. As Joel Berner, senior economist at Realtor.com explains, quote, households working on their budget will find it much easier to continue to rent than to go through the expenses of home ownership. However, they need to consider the equity and generational wealth they can build up by owning a home that they can't be renting it. In the long run, buying a home may be a better investment. Even in the short run, costs seem prohibitive. Renting may feel more, renting may feel more doable today, but over time it could cost you more without helping you build anything for the future. If homeownership feels out of reach today, you're not alone. And the first step toward getting out of the rental trap is to set a plan. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's work on that plan together. That's the whole bottom line of what we talk about on Ron Siegel Radio. It's all about the plan. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation this morning, Brandon Hancock is with us. Solvo Global is the name of his company. So, Brandon, you described Solvo as a way for U.S. companies to save 60% on talent. Wow. What's the biggest misconception business owners have about offshoring or nearshoring?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that arises out there is that, having exceptional talent at a reduced cost of that substantial nature, that they're mutually exclusive. You can't have the best of both. And this is just simply not true. We do a very exhaustive job pre-vetting our candidates, and we have everything from your rudimentary, mundane, laborious data entry personnel people, anybody who literally can fog a mirror, can do the job, right, and move an A to B. That's the bottom barrel, all the way up to people that literally are attorneys that have 8 to 10 years of experience and understand immigration law. You have people that are CPAs, bookkeepers, software engineers, people that full stack front end, back end coding. So, whatever the flavor is that your company needs, when you look at your org chart, you see how it's ebbing and flowing and how you can basically pour kerosene on your campfire to help scale it. The cool thing about Solva, what we do is that we will take a job description from anybody. You give us the specs you want. We go through it with a fine-tooth comb, kind of dig through the minutia to build a comprehensive profile. We cite our scope. We hit the target right from the get-go. We have 500 recruiters around the globe. And unless we demonstrate our capability and find you an asset that checks all your boxes that you have a chance to interview, stress test, and feel comfortable with, you can walk away, no harm, no foul. Okay, at the end of the day, it's on us. The onus is on us to deliver the right talent that you want. 9.8 times out of 10, people will start by dipping their toe in the water because they've never done this before. There's a little bit of trepidation, a little anxiety. They want to check the temperature to make sure it's okay before they do a cannonball off the deep end and really go all in. And I can tell you that a lot of people may start with, hey, I'm a busy professional. I just need an assistant to give me 45 hours a week to manage my flight schedule, to reconcile my spreadsheets, to do my PowerPoint presentations, just to free up my time so that I can focus on generating revenue, attracting more clients, running my business, and offloading all, the kind of mundane things I mentioned before to people that can handle that. After that happens, they see how quick the process is. Our typical turnaround times, once you give us a job description and we have that discovery call per se, usually within 7 to 10 business days, we'll send you 3 to 6 candidates. We don't just give you a resume. A lot of people just, attracting talent is one thing, retaining it's different. I'll get into that momentarily. But, we have a dedicated team that knows what works and what doesn't by industry vertical. So we have people that understand legal prospects, right? What type of job functionality skill sets do they need to have? What kind of background should they have? What kind of education level? All that fun stuff. And they'll give you our third-party assessment notes to filter those out for you. We're not going to send you 25 people all at once to just make you drown. We give you the diamonds in the rough. We get the needles in the haystack that you can assess at that point. We also make everybody shoot a 90-second to 2-minute video. Why do we do that? Whether you're in Southern California, where we are, right, Arizona, Texas, Florida, you're almost doing yourself a disservice. If you do not have somebody on your team that understands Spanish, se habla español, can help do intake on that front, you're alienating about 40% of the demographic. So, but there are instances maybe in the Midwest where the accent is very, very tricky. So you can look good on paper, right? Hey, the specs look great. I like the stat sheet, but we don't want you to waste time interviewing anybody until you have a chance to get a little sizzle reel. Hey, my name is Sophia. I live in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I've been a paralegal for 4 years. Here's why I want to come work for you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That way you can see how they express themselves. It's an English filter, and that way you don't waste your time going down a rabbit hole if it's not going to cut the mustard. So we have a pretty exhaustive approach to make sure that you get the right fit. And I will tell you this, median numbers, these are accurate for the most part for the majority of our roles. If you were to hire someone here in the United States, we're talking one person. And let's go with California, for example, because it's the most punitive labor laws in the land. After taxes, benefits, insurance, people are dying on the vine. They're forced to move out of here. I mean, you see it in mass exodus. Google's doing it. Everybody's moving to Texas and Florida. We don't need to get into all that stuff. You and I are lockstep on that front. But truth be told, we take care of all the back end headache for you. So people will save about $35,000 per hire per year. And I have use cases of that with law firms and people that have replaced their reception team to have a virtual model. And they, this guy had 10 receptionists, and he showed me the year-over-year numbers, saved $350,000 on his bottom line to reinvest into his company, to put into his pocket, to help his kids go to school, to hire more people in other departments, to bring in more lawyers, what have you. So, we really have an answer for everything. And I don't want to just get stuck on the remote component. We have on-site, in-state deliverables too. And, again, nowadays, it's the turnover, the job markets, with low unemployment, just the work level that's, coming out late. A lot of my clients these days are very frustrated. They say, hey, all these young kids, they want to walk in some cush job, $100,000 starting. They're going to dictate to me their work-life balance. They want to raise after 3 months. We're not having it. So, we can certainly listen. We deploy the assets that we have to find you what you need. If it's someone that's here in California, or if it's Des Moines, Iowa, we have an answer for that charges no success fees. Nowadays, when you have a headhunter and you say, hey, I need someone that can do X, Y, and Z, they need to live 20 miles from here, and here's the deal. They're going to charge you 20 to 25%. So let's say that person's base salary is $100,000. You're paying 20 to 25 grand just to get that one person in. That adds up very quickly. So we have other tools like that as well. But the mainstay of what we do is help U.S. companies fill in, backfill where they need more support. And we do it at a cheaper rate. So typically, you almost get 3 employees for the price of one. They're fully bilingual. And I can tell you this, They're dedicated. They take full accountability. Just because Salvo writes their checks, you are 100% their boss. They're dedicated to you and you alone. They don't work for any other companies. And
so they're not going on my payroll and my workman's comp and my...
None of that. So there's no taxable event. We are the employer of record. Great question, Ron. So that being said, we basically bill as a business consulting service. You don't have to do any taxes. We handle their benefits, their insurance, everything. It's one flat all-in monthly fee. And the way it happens, let's say use simple math. If someone's $2,000 a month, you pay $1,000 on the 15th, $1,000 on the last day of the month. And basically there's no cancellation fee within 30 days. So I don't like to use the term of labor subscription, but it can work out that way. You're not going to be beholden to having a minimum of 5 people or 10 people for 6 months or a year. If things go sideways, there's a budgetary constraint, you have to move the domino pieces around. There's no cancellation. So we're here to be nimble, customizable. I hope your listeners can understand that it's very, very hard to find people now, and it's expensive to do so. Just to be on the job boards, it's $2-3 grand a month for LinkedIn, Recruiter, Monster.com, ZipRecruiter. Those things add up. We do all the heavy lifting for you to deliver them to you on a silver platter. We don't start the billing process until their butt's in the seat day one on the job in one of our facilities, and you say go.
Interesting. When we come back, I want to talk to you about how you've built a career across sports media and now global staffing. How did all that come about? And what lessons did you learn in athletics that are now helping you build business teams? We're going to talk about that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. I still wonder why. Why is it that people that are worried about their job or thinking about retirement are not taking the preemptive actions to make sure they've got excess liquidity, financial liquidity? What's in most cases your biggest asset and where you've got most of your resources? Yes, it's your house. Yet you've got a mortgage, the old fixed, faithful 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the highest price mortgage there is, by the way, instead of going with the Home Select loan, where every single month you've got more and more equity available, more and more liquidity available on your property, in your household. So if you lose your job, you don't stress about the mortgage payment if you've got enough equity. If you decide you want to retire, well, you just have your retirement money go right into the Home Select. It sweeps in, it brings down your balance of your home loan, sweeps out when you want to spend it. And if you're young and retired and you don't need to, and you are still getting revenue coming in, Home Select might be paid off in 8 years and still keep liquidity. It's an amazing program. Unbelievable. It's the best loan on the market. That is the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Continuing our conversation, we are speaking this morning with Brandon Hancock, Solvo Global. So, Brandon, you built a career across sports, media, now global staffing. What lessons from athletics translate best into building high-performing business teams?
That's a great question, Ron, and I'll make it pretty simple for you. I mean, look at the playoffs in the NFL or any particular sport, right? When you look at the makeup of a roster, typically the people that are playing into December and February, their X's are bigger, faster, and stronger than your O's. So sometimes it's not even about the game plan. If we have better people on the field, then we tend to win. And I've learned, I was very fortunate enough to have a mentor like Pete Carroll, who's a very magnetic individual, and he constructed through recruiting, one of the best rosters of all time. We actually had a 33-game win streak. It was one of the best dynasties in college football history, I would imagine. I was one of 20 people to probably play with 3 Heisman Trophy winners from my freshman year to my last year in college, which is pretty rare. And you can see the value of not just getting the great pieces there, but also fostering the best productivity out of those, right? That's with tutelage, it's with coaching, it's with supervision. And so I learned, from Pete, just always compete. And again, surround yourself with people that are going to help pull you up by the bootstraps and motivate you to perform at your very best level. So when you kind of take those lessons from sports to have that championship mentality and just put in the extra work and you translate that to business, the same applies, right? So whether you're a law firm, whether you're a CPA firm, you want people in your company that are going to challenge you. They're going to have, real-time collaboration. There's going to be friendly competition to foster, as I mentioned before, the best output. And that's one of the cool things about it. When you have good leadership and you have people around you that are dedicated to achieve a common goal, it usually is a huge recipe for success. And, I've seen that in my athletic career clearly. And again, a lot of the same tenets, the fundamentals, the mindsets that translate over to business. And again, whether you're in sales or you're in management, to be able to wake up every day and attack the work and have an enthusiasm about you, to have a motto of trying to do things better than they've ever been done before, which is something Pete used to always coin. It's ingrained. And if you always are competing, you're always working to iron sharpen iron and be the best version of yourself.
Interesting. That's great guidance. So let me ask you this one. This will probably fit into the majority of our listeners and those people that are watching on replays as well. Small business owners, solo entrepreneurs, what's the first role they should consider outsourcing to make the biggest impact the quickest?
That's a great question. And again, we service business of all shapes and sizes, enterprise, airlines, car dealers, all that kind of stuff, down to my favorite thing to do is deal with the little guy, right? To build the infrastructure. Now, depending on most of the requests that I get, again, when you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, and you are building something from scratch, you tend to be wearing a bunch of hats, right? You're answering the phones, you're doing the marketing, you're helping, manage all the numbers. It's a lot. And so I'd say the lowest hanging fruit that we get are executive assistants, not just your typical VAs. These are executive assistants that understand how to work with COOs, CFOs, busy travelers, things of that nature that have an elevated level of experience. And we actually have a university that we cultivated because it's such a high demand position that trains people how to master all the tools that they're going to need to help, allow the people that are running the company to focus on what really, really matters, and they can take care of anything. And again, we hand you people that are dynamic, they're versatile, they're trainable. It's, I can kind of harken it to like we give you a lump of clay and you can sculpt it however you want. You can train them to do this task or that task, but that is usually the thing that helps people take, from hitting a plateau or having an obstacle that they can't overcome to being able to, save the money on that front and then focus on their growth plan and operational initiatives beyond that. So to answer your question, that's probably numero uno. And then from that point on, obviously the back office administrative stuff is really where we cut our teeth initially. It's where people need the support, the bookkeeping aspects, people managing the phones, people handling, the social media campaigns, things like that, marketing. I mean, we really can slice up any way you like it. But just remember this, anything that can be done without driving a forklift or picking up a box, we can do it. We've done it since 2018. I mean, we service over 50 different industry verticals. We have over 1,200 clients that all over the world. So if it's something that we haven't heard about before, we custom source from scratch. So we listen to you. And if it exists out there in the world, our tentacles will go out there and find them and we'll present them to you. And again, because of currency arbitrage, economic factors, inflation rates, taxation, nation by nation, there's just so much symbiosis where 2 + 2 = 5. We give our people 10 to 15% what they would make in their local community, not just attract the talent, but retain them. And conversely, you're going to be saving, like I said before, 55 to 60% on the same equivalent salary for the same type of person right here in California or Denver or you name it, anywhere across the board.
It's amazing because, now the world is so small, so global. If I hit send on my email, it doesn't know whether I'm sending it to Josh in Vegas or to Sarah in Colombia.
Correct. Yeah, we truly live.
What about the security part of it, Brandon?
That's a great question. I mean, it's funny, Medellin, Colombia, which is where our Latin American headquarters are. We are a U.S. entity. We're incorporated in Delaware. Our headquarters are in Houston. But, it has its connotations for certain exports and certain riffraff from the past, right? People do get a little alarmed about that. But I remind folks, back in '93, Pablo Escobar got taken out. So that whole cartel riffraff, it's long been gone. It's a beautiful country right in the Andes Mountains. And when it comes to security, the guy that runs our IT tech support, because this is the big one, right? If you're going to be the lifeline between you and your business is cybersecurity, VPNs, firewalls, cloud servicing. So listen, we're PCI compliant on all commercial and financial transactions. We have HIPAA compliance for all sort of, surgery centers, home healthcare people. For any proprietary personal health information, we're buttoned up to the teeth on that. We have locations that are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, which is probably the uppermost echelon of security stringency, I guess if that's a word, right, that you can even imagine. So with random auditing. So knock on wood, since 2018, we've never had a third-party breach of data. We've never had an internal asset leak any trade secrets or IP. We have a very meticulous program that buttons that up. So that being said, what we usually do, Ron, with people that have a third-party, IT administrator or whatever, they'll talk with our team, whatever ecosystem they want to run on, by a software perspective, they want to have remote desktops and have things live on their databases here in the States. We can carve it up 6 ways to Sunday. So that is something that gives people a lot of peace of mind, knowing that your stuff's going to be safe. I mean, people have personal assistants with access to their bank accounts. They can pay their Amazon accounts, they book travel. We've never had an issue because we have direct oversight and supervision on site at all times.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's a big issue because there's so many areas that are, sensitive, and nowadays it's even more sensitive. I mean, and the regulations involved in everything.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, listen, SEC and FINRA, as you know, in the mortgage industry, they took a big hit with the countrywide stuff back in 2009. Very, very heavily regulated. They have to have certifications and things of that nature. But again, we do everything soup to nuts when it comes to when we bring someone in to recruit for a position you're looking for. We do background checks. We do drug tests. We actually, interestingly enough, in Latin America, they take it even a step further than we do here. They make people take physicals because the last thing you want is someone saying, hey, I'm sitting down for 9 hours a day or for a 10-hour shift and I got gout and it's your fault. So they really are exhaustive in their approach to, making sure that everything's buttoned up on the front end. And occasionally, listen, if you do get a lemon once in a while, it's just life. It happens. You can't cover off the ball every time. We replace those people for free, and we get you the right people to get the job done for whatever you're looking to do.
Well, I'm certainly glad that I'm not going to work for you guys then, because I'm not sure I can pass a physical. That's a whole different story.
Hey, buddy, you lost 60 pounds. Congrats on that, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Hey, you know something? If you want more information on Solvo Global, give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'd be happy to put you in touch with Brandon Hancock. SolvoGlobal.com is the website. But again, you can just reach out to us at Ron Siegel Radio, and we'll put you in touch with Brandon. I know where to find him. Well, someday.
I'm not that hard to find, buddy, and I'm not hiding. So look forward
there
to
we go.
Again soon, my friend.
Absolutely. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.